All right. We're responding directly to your comments.
We will be coming from the book of TikTok. Chapter has biased school policies watered down the education system. And we have multiple comments. So the first one comes from the pivot strategist. Looks like it's a she. She said the law and policy will help. Well, this law and policy will help the education system by giving kids an education who want to be there. Yes, I agree. Because now we get the bad actors out of the class.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely. The
there's no
distractors.
biasness. Yeah, the distractors, the detractors, and a lot of the times, well, I remember being back in education. What I learned was that a lot of these kids that are the distractors, they're ultimately lashing out due to some poor lifestyle that they're living at home. Some sort of pain that they're not able to deal with. So the only place that they can get some attention is when they come to school, and they usually use the classroom as therapy. So be mindful of that. Take care of your kids.
Yeah, that was true because I was one of those disruptive kids, to say the least, during my school tenure.
So the next one came from a Jamie M. They said no accountability. Parents are the problem.
Mm,
I would have to agree that
yeah.
parents are the problem in that they're not instilling that sense of discipline at home, so that by the time the kid gets to school, they're able to behave accordingly.
Hmm.
But again, that comes back to that I just mentioned. A lot of these homes are very disruptive, low and dysfunctional locations,
Yep.
and the kid isn't getting any attention, whether it's due to the living environment or they sense of the simplistic mindset that they're in. They come to school and now they're being disruptive, and that's the only avenue they believe they have to get some level of attention from those in authority as well as their peers. So next comment came from a DD of ATL. She said administrations aren't going to allow teachers to send students out like that, especially in states like Georgia, where teachers have no collective bargaining union. Administration are mostly just drawing a check, overburdening the teachers. So administrations are just drawing a check, overburdening the teachers.
Mm.
Okay. Well, Miss Didi, I would say I can't speak on Georgia law.
Right.
I can't speak on Georgia's collective bargaining union situation when it comes to the teachers. But what I can speak on is the basic understanding and universal principle that disruptive children make it hard for other students to learn.
Period.
So if you have a disruptive child, then this law is saying that that disruptive child is going to be removed from the classroom, no matter how many it is per day. So if we want to minimize that, then we begins at home.
So it's actually going to change the
Overburdening.
administrative process that you are dealing with in Georgia. I believe she said that's the state.
Now, someone stitched this video and made a good point in that the ultimate result here is that the kids are going to be back at home with the parent, whether you work or not, because these suspension, these again getting sent out of class, then now you're getting suspended, then you're gonna get expelled, and then you're
You
gonna have to
home
go
for
to
3, 4 days,
three,
yeah.
right, but then you go try to go to another school and go through the same cycle. Eventually you're gonna be unenrollable. So now again, now your child's gonna be left with you. So be mindful that when you decide to have a kid, or when you got a kid and you're raising that kid and you think it's just so cute that they being an asshole at 1 years old, that's gonna show up when they 10 years old if you
Hmm.
don't, as they say, catch it nipping in the bud. Next comment comes from a Kelly Brook. They say teachers leave for other schools because of this. I made it 10 years and it was only first grade.
Wow.
Well, this goes to the story that I read recently. Earlier this year, where it said a teacher in Arkansas. She said she quit. It was either kindergarten or first grade because the kids were coming to school with diapers on, and the parents was dropping them off with diapers. Like, yeah, when they yeah, you got to change their diaper when they use the bathroom. But it's like, no, your child needs to be potty trained.
First grade?
Your child needs to be potty trained, and they was dropping them off in diapers.
Oh, OMG, that's crazy. Did y'all hear that? Wow.
So Amy says suspension is just 3-day vacation. And looks like we have someone by the name of Happy Nestor came under that and said only if the parents let it be a vacation. It's not the school's job to parent
Right.
children. It's not the school's fault that they're not parenting them when they get home. It's also not the rest of the class's fault that they can't get it together.
Right. That's not an excuse. Like it was just a 3-day vacation. It shouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? And if there should be more consequences. If those suspensions keep adding up, then you probably should be put in boarding school. They should probably send you away where, if you can't get disciplined at home, like you you could be shipped away.
Next comment comes from back from the pivot strategist. She says schools became passive with parents, making all kinds of excuses.
Hmm.
I remember I heard someone say the school is scared of the kid, the parent is scared of the kid. So now you got both a scared parent and a scared school, basically, being dictated by some ignorant kid.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you gotta get it together on all levels, but again, it begins at home.
It begins at home.
So Ricky's red and pen says my stepson was one of those students. Long story short, when he got of age, I put him out.
That's what happens.
Yeah,
That's like when you cut up and become a problem child, and you just always a pain in your parents' ass. When you get of age, that that's what they tell you. Like you got to go.
you got to get up out of
You got to
here.
go.
You ain't
Trust
got
me,
a
I know.
home, but you got to get the hell up out of her.
Facts.
So all right, man, we'll go ahead and that'll do it for this segment. We're gonna save the other ones for another time. But respond directly, live and in full effect. Drop some comments on our social media clips, and you know what I mean. We'll appear on a segment. Peace.